Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Internal Affairs. Does he stand by all his statements?
Honourable Peter Dunne.
Yes. In fact, I'm more than happy to stand by the only statement I've made since being appointed Minister of Internal Affairs 2 days ago, that the New Zealand Fire Service has today deployed the first of 2 firefighting contingents to help fight bushfires in Victoria. This actually follows 4 similar deployments to Australia last year and underscores the close relationship and cooperation our 2 countries have when dealing with times of national adversity. And I'm sure, Mr Speaker, the House will want to join with me in wishing our firefighters well and that they have a safe return home.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Does he stand by the comment he made as he welcomed his new role, that he has, with his CEO, responsibility, amongst other things, for proper protection for the security of information?
Honourable Peter Dunne.
Yes.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable Trevor Mallard.
How does he reconcile that comment last week with his action in leaking a confidential report to a member of the Parliamentary Press Gallery?
I'll allow the Minister to respond to that question.
Mr Speaker, I stand by the comments that I made in the statement that the member referred to. I accept the responsibility that I have as Minister of Internal Affairs, and I will honour that responsibility.
Supplementary question, Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Further to my last supplementary, did he leak the Kitteridge report or any draft thereof?
Order. There is no ministerial responsibility for that question.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
I'll hear order. Point of order, Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I refer you to 3841. It does say at your discretion, but it says a supplementary question may be asked by any member to elucidate or clarify a matter raised in a question for oral answer or in an answer given to a question. The point that I do want to make very clearly and very simply, Mr Speaker, is that this Minister has responsibility for the security of information. It is a matter of whether this Minister is a suitable Minister for having that responsibility. And his history on matters which he has referred to in the House and in statements is something which goes right to whether this House should have confidence in him in his new role.
I have still will not accept the supplementary question as asked, where the member has directly asked a question that is of a matter that occurred well before this Minister was made Minister of Internal Affairs. If the member has a further supplementary, I'm happy to listen to it.
Mr Speaker, why should this House have confidence in him now when he has refused to deny leaking the Kitteridge report or a draft thereof or allowing a Dominion Post reporter access to that report?
Point of order, the Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Well, firstly, Mr Speaker, ministers are not required to express confidence in themselves in this House. That is a role for the Prime Minister, and that has been the confidence in Mr Dunne has been expressed by the Prime Minister by virtue of the appointment. But I'd turn you, sir, to 377, which is the content of questions, and particularly B and C of that particular standing order. And while there may be an opportunity to make a case around any standing order, it has to be remembered standing orders are to provide order in the House, and the questioning process is about extracting information from ministers about the portfolio responsibilities they hold.
Grant Robertson.
Mr Speaker, speaking to that point of order from the Leader of the House, firstly, Mr Mallard sought to ask why the House should have confidence in Mr Dunne. I think that is a fully legitimate thing. It is true that the confidence the Prime Minister holds is an important matter, but Mr Mallard was asking why this Parliament should have confidence. The second point I would make is that in the first supplementary question that Mr Mallard asked, he made clear part of what Mr Dunne had said were his responsibilities, the security of information. It is a legitimate thing for members on this side of the House to ask whether Parliament should have confidence in a minister to perform a specific duty that they have as a minister, and that is oversight of the security of information of government. I think the question's in order.
Order. No, I don't need further assistance. I'm going to assist the House by moving the matter forward. If the question had been asked strictly in accordance with standing orders, the question would have simply been, why should the House have confidence in the Minister? I don't think that's an unreasonable question. Now, if the Minister stands and answers that, we can move forward.
Mr Speaker,
Well, this is a fresh point. I've ruled on this matter, Mr Brownlee. If the member wants to raise a new point of order, I'll hear it.
It is a new
I have
point
ruled
of order.
that the question is in order.
It's
if the member's now disputing my ruling...
He's not standing, and I've called a point of order.
That's a different matter. Point of order, the Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, is it now a ruling from you that the House expresses confidence in ministers as opposed to the Prime Minister?
No, I don't need assistance. On this occasion, a member of this House has asked a question to a minister. Why should the House have confidence in a minister? I've declared that that question's in order. Now, that question can be answered by the minister. I'm sure he'll have no difficulty in doing so.
Mr Speaker, the House should have confidence in me as a minister because I will carry out properly the responsibilities entrusted to me by the portfolio that I hold.
Supplementary question, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
In order to ensure that the House has confidence in him, is he prepared to now deny that he leaked the Kitteridge report or any draft thereof, or allowed a Dominion Post reporter to access that report?
Mr Speaker,
Peter
I
Dunne.
have no responsibility for that report.
Question. Point of order, the Right Honourable
Speaker, he was not asked about the report. He was asked about the leak, and he cannot just dodge it that way by saying, I have no responsibility for the report.
The Minister has addressed that question with relevance. Question number... Point of order, the Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, I'd ask you again to think about the prospect of the House being able to question the confidence of a minister as whole. The reality is that the opposition parties in this House vote no confidence in the government every opportunity that they get. So it is a completely ingenuine question that's being asked by the opposition. Well, we'll call it that.
Order. Order.
I should be able to finish, I think.
No, I've heard enough. I've heard quite enough. Because what the member's really doing is asking me to reflect on a decision that I've made in this House today, and I will certainly do that and come back to him.
Speaking to the point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Well, no, I've ruled on that point of order. Now, order! I have ruled on that point of order, but if the member wants to raise a further point of order... Order! If the member does want to raise a further point of order, I will hear from the Honourable David Parker.
Further point of order, Mr. Speaker. If the Speaker was going to further reflect on the Leader of the House's additional point, then I would think that the Speaker should allow the opposition to respond to the new point that the Leader of the House has made, and I would seek to do so.
Well, order, if the member will resume his seat. The difficulty I have is that the member, Mr Brownlee, hasn't actually raised any new points at all. He's just asked me to reflect on the matter. And I'm happy to reflect on the matter, and I will come back to not only Mr Brownlee but the House if that's so required.
Well, speaking to that point, sir...
Speaking to the point of order.
How could the Speaker be willing to reconsider the matter without being willing to consider the opposition view on that. There are points to be made here that are arising out of the Leader of the House's submission to you that I think are germane, and I think I should have the opportunity to...
Well, if the member can succinctly put his point of view, I'm happy to hear it.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The problem with the Leader's position there was set out in his submission to you. It is within the right of the opposition not to have confidence in the government and ministers, as we do in respect of motions such as the motion on the Prime Minister's statement. And that same ruling applies to questions such as Mr Mallard's. Therefore, your original ruling is correct and Mr Brownlee's incorrect.
I'll hear from the Right Honourable Winston.
Yeah, Mr Speaker. Well, in consideration of the request by Mr Brownlee, in your further consideration as he has invited you to undergo, do you want to know the date, time and the room that the leak took place?
And the member should actually go back to his office and practice raising relevant points of order.